Hello, I'm Yogi Stillness, and thank you for joining us. I'll be your guide in today's meditation. Today we'll explore how to grow habits that align with our values. We'll begin by sitting on the floor, a cushion, or in a chair. When you're ready, allow for your eyes to close. And let's take 3 cleansing breaths now. Begin with a great big inhale and hold it, and a long, full exhale. An even deeper breath in and pause, holding it in for a moment, and a full exhale. One last full inhale and hold, and a complete exhale, releasing everything. As your body starts to settle, think about recent times you may have lost your temper or become upset. Think about how your emotional responses arise in different situations. Think about the stages you went through when this happened. If something triggered you, where were you? Visualize yourself being more patient, forgiving, or otherwise impervious to the situation. Imagine what the best response would be in these situations. How you wish you were able to respond in the heat of the moment. Hold on to this image of the calm and patient version of yourself for a few minutes silently. Come back to the image of yourself as infinitely patient and compassionate under stress. Imagine yourself sitting in meditation as completely unaffected from being provoked by friends, partners, family members, colleagues, or strangers. Whenever you notice the desire to respond with anger or sadness, acknowledge the existence of that response within you. And again, focus your imagination on being resilient to stress and patient in your responses. Silently imagine integrating these positive qualities into yourself, replacing any less favorable habits. Continue this for a couple more minutes on your own. Let go of any thoughts you may have been having and notice the flow of the breath through the body. If we feed a squirrel in our yard, there's a good chance it'll come back tomorrow to look for more food. If we feed it every day for a week, it might start hanging around all the time. It might even start to get bigger from being fed so often. Sure, even if we never fed the squirrels, they'd still come around from time to time, since there will occasionally be things for them to eat. But if we start rolling out the welcome mat, they can grow into ever-present monsters, scaring off the other animals, raiding the bird feeders, and dominating everything. Emotions like anger and sadness work in the same way. The more we feed them, the more they will show up and drive out other emotions and responses. If we resort to anger or sadness every time we get frustrated, our capacities for anger and sadness can increase, and our inclination to resort to them in all situations can grow. Every time we give in to emotional response under stress, we feed that habit and it grows bigger, outcompeting more rational thoughts and actions. Squirrels, like these emotions, will never completely disappear, but the less we feed them, the less we'll see them. Anything we feed will grow, and anything we ignore will shrink. This shows us that we can improve our habits and emotional responses in a couple of ways. We can limit how much energy we feed to our bad habits so that they can start to lessen. And if we're able to mindfully notice where we habitually feed our negative emotions, we have the possibility of cutting off their food supply. On the other hand, we can also start feeding our good habits more and more so that they can start outcompeting the bad ones. Perhaps if we know where we're easily triggered by certain people, we can start cultivating patience and compassionate responses to them. They'll probably still be able to push our buttons, but maybe not as consistently. The things we give our energy to are the things that may show up the most, and the things we deprive our energy can become rare visitors. Though we may have times when negative emotions and bad habits can surface, we can choose which ones we feed and which ones we starve. We can work towards this with practice, feeding those energies inside of us mindfully. Being mindful of this can help us recognize that every time we choose a response, we can choose to feed our higher selves by practicing more virtuous habits. And when we're able to place our energy on more favorable habits, we can begin to feed the monsters less and less. Come back into your body now. Take hold of your knees, lean forward, and arch your back as you take a big inhale and pause. Then with your exhale, lean back, round your spine, and drop your chin. Now sit up tall and take one last invigorating breath in and hold it for a moment. And then let it out. And allow your eyes to open. Thank you for showing up for your mindfulness practice today. We are grateful for the opportunity to support you in self-care and look forward to meeting here again tomorrow.